Hi guys, and welcome back to Keep Smiling Adventures, and today this is my Sonder Camino Titanium. A regular viewer of this channel, you know I've had this bike a while now. I've had this bike around 2 years now, and it got me thinking, if I was going to be buying or building a new gravel bike in 2022, what things would I be looking for, and what things would I really quite like to see on gravel bikes for the future. So in this video we are going to go through some of the things that I would want or like to see on gravel bikes coming up in the future, especially if I was going to build one right now in 2022. So let's get into this video. So gravel bikes get sold to us as these all-purpose adventure bikes, but there's always one thing that never comes stock on pretty much all of the bikes. I'm sure there are a few companies out there that will do it, but they never come stock with a Dynamo hub. And honestly, since I've been using Dynamo hubs for the last 6-7 years, I literally just have to have them on all my bikes. And for most people, even if you don't do really long adventures, even if you just use your bike for commuting, Dynamos are so good, because if you're a commuter, you can just run lights all year round, don't have to worry about charging batteries, and they're just great. I would love to see companies actually bring out their gravel bikes, their adventure bikes, set up ready for adventure, and a Dynamo is one of them things that I just think it's such a game changer. It means you can go further, it means you don't have to rely on other things, you don't have to rely on getting to a pub or hotel to charge things or go into cafes. If you can ride, you can charge things, you can have lights running constantly day and night, and it's just generally one of these things that I think nowadays should start, I would like to start seeing it come stock on a lot more bikes, because honestly, when I first moved to the Dynamo, it was such a game changer. Keep everything charged, you can run lights all through the night, no worries about anything. These are gravel bikes, these are adventure bikes, and wouldn't it be great if the bike actually just came stock ready with a Dynamo on it, or at least if the company could give you that option. Now, whether I would be buying a brand new, fully built, already built gravel bike right now, or building one myself, there is one thing that I would 100% do slightly differently than my current build on this Sonder right now, and that is make sure my forks had bottle mounts or some kind of bottle bosses so I could attach things. Now you'll see on my bomb track I have that, and honestly I love it. You can run like, you've just got that extra storage. Even if you won't use it, it's just way better, and that's just generally better on a gravel bike all round, to have more kind of places to mount things. And one of them things that I really would like on my Sonder right now is bottle mounts on the forks. So if I was looking to buy a bike or build a bike right now, 100% I would not have forks that did not have bottle bosses, bottle mounts, whatever you want to call them. They are just so useful. Another thing that I would be on the lookout if I was going to be building or buying a gravel bike in 2022 is the max tire clearance size. Now right now on this bike I'm running 50mm tires. Now Sonder don't actually say this can take 50mm. I think it's because of the first generation Sonder, it can take like 45 at 700, like 48 at 650, but I'm running 50-700. It's a little bit tight, but it's not too bad for when I typically use the gravel bike on the sort of drier conditions. But I don't think I would buy a gravel bike that was not able to take 700 by 50 minimum. Tires in the gravel world are getting bigger, and although I don't think they'll go much bigger than 50mm in the future, I think every bike company should be aiming to get minimum of 50mm tyres on 700c wheels, and possibly even bigger for the 650, but for a 700c I want minimum 50. Whether you're actually going to use that or not, I still think I would not buy a bike that couldn't cope with that just for being able to decide, oh, I want a bigger tyre. Even if you are only ever going to run a 35 or a 40mm tyre, it doesn't really matter, because if you've got that extra space anyway, it's good for mud clearance, and it's just generally it's just better to have that option of being able to put bigger tyres on if you actually need them. I want to see bike companies and gravel frames always be able to take 700 by 50mm tyres. Now, this one is one that I actually would like to see across all types of bikes, really, from road bikes to gravel bikes to generally any bikes. I've wanted it for ages, and some companies do it, but they're mostly on very expensive bikes. But what I would really like to see is some integrated storage into bikes. Even if it's just to be able to carry your spare inner tube and Allen keys, just to have that integrated nicely into the frame design would be amazing. Like time trial bikes do this really nicely, and also some of the higher end aero carbon frames do this. I just think having a nice integrated storage built then and there with the frame design would just be an awesome feature to start to see a bit more on bikes coming out in 2022 and the future. I've always really loved the idea. I think Trek do it on some of their aero road bikes, and I would just love to see it generally come a bit more mainstream, to have a little bit of integrated storage and see what the bike companies actually come up with, because I think having a little bit of integrated storage is a great thing if we can do it right. Final thing that I would be looking for and want if I was going to be buying or building a new gravel bike in 2022, and this one is going to be quite controversial, I think, because, well, give me that front mech back. I know this is quite a controversial one. Most people are quite happy riding one by, and that's absolutely fine. I love one by, and I only will say that if I was going to be buying or building a gravel bike right now in 2022, I would actually go back to 2x, and this is only because I use my gravel bike as a road bike, trying to get the gearing for me great on the road and great off-road. It's just not quite working out great. I'm currently running a 42/42. Now, this is okay on the road, but I'm slightly under-geared most of the time. It's not too bad if I've got bags on my bike, but it's just always a bit under-geared. And when I've got bags on my bike and I'm going sort of off-road, especially on some of the steep stuff, and then I'm under-geared, I would rather have maybe a 40 or maybe even like a 38 on the front, so I have a 38/42. But if I did that, then I would have to obviously keep changing it, and I just really like the idea of just being able to basically change the tires and that's it. I think right now in 2022, if I was going to build this bike again, and possibly I will actually do this in the future, is I would go back with that front mech, and yeah, I'd go 2x again, because as much as I like 1x, if I was only riding off-road, then I would stick with 1x. But because I use this bike as a road bike as well as a gravel bike, I think I need the 2x. So guys, there we have it. There's a few things that if I was going to be building a bike, a gravel bike in 2022, they would be things that I would like to see, I'd be looking for, and just generally I would want on my bike. Right, I'm gonna go do some riding. Until next time, keep smiling, enjoy the adventure. Peace.